Today we will build the first of Kirito's Alpha Online dual swords. Lucky for us, this is a fairly simple sword, and I highly recommend it to beginners, as the template being used in this sword will fit most sword designs. Unfortunately, the Dark Repulsor and Elucidator are just slightly too big for this template. Making the template wider will also allow it to fit. So consider this as a tutorial for one sword, and a talk-through for two more. You will need 110 or 67 pound paper, liquid school glue, a high temperature hot glue gun, popsicle sticks, and the printout that is linked in the description. Other tools may be needed. I'm using 110 pound paper for this build, or about 200 GSM in metric. Start by folding the paper long ways and spread glue on it, then place it underneath books to dry for 24 hours. Make about 20 of these. Using the hardened paper, construct a template that is 4 layers thick and 44 inches long as shown. This is going to be a showpiece for me, so 4 layers is enough, although feel free to add more layers if you intend it for heavier use. Handle, I simply weaved a perpendicular sheet and layered it up the same way as the rest of the template. If you turn this piece 90 degrees and offset it from center on both sides, you can get the Dark Repulsor and Elucidator to fit. This is pretty much the only modification needed. Using the first piece I put down as a guide, I used more hardened paper to make each layer level with the main template. This should be done while you're making the template and not as an afterthought. As this piece is going to be a display piece, the layers that run across the main template will be the only things holding these in place. Once you're done with the template, let it dry underneath more books overnight. Then, using the printout as a cut sheet for the handle, finish drawing the rest of the blade and start cutting the template out using a craft knife and straight edge. Next, we build the supports using the popsicle sticks and hot glue gun. These are also layered in the same fashion as the template. For the ends, I cut off the rounded parts to give it a cleaner look in the end product. These are jumbo-sized craft sticks, and I recommend them over the smaller ones. The tip is made by cutting the popsicle sticks in half, and it does not go all the way up to the tip. This is to create a tapered look in the end product. Make more of the same hardened paper if you've run out. We're going to use this to make the outer skin for the sword. This will hide the supports as well as prevent the blade from torquing, whereas the supports prevent the blade from bending. Trace the shape of the blade onto the panel and cut it out and glue it on as shown. There are several ways to do this. The method shown here is just my preferred method. Experiment around and see what works best for you. Notice that I have left the round cutouts uncut. This is so that it is easier to line the edges of the panel to the template, as you only need to cut along the edges of the template. Repeat this step to the rest of the blade. This process is the single most time-consuming step, and is also a major contributor to how nice the sword looks when finished. Take your time here. Use strips of paper to cover the handle as shown. These are about 1 inch wide. Some of the smaller areas are hard to reach. For that, I just papered over them the same way I did the handle. Because of this, the second piece that I'm going to glue on top of the original panel will actually hide any places that you had to paper over, and will also level the surface for the decorations later. I used strips of paper that get incrementally smaller to create a flared pommel and other details for the handle. Make a small template that is 2 layers thick and cut out the blade decoration using the printout as a cut sheet. You will need 2 of these. If you're going to paint the sword, do not glue the decorations onto it yet. Instead, using blue painter's tape, mask off the areas that you want to remain white. Then I recommend using gloss black spray paint to color the blade and decorations. You may need white acrylic paint for touch-up work. Once you have everything painted the way you want, I recommend a clear acrylic sealer to protect the paint. Now you can assemble the parts. Remember to like if you liked the video, dislike if you disliked it, feel free to leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already for more videos like this. You can also find me on Twitter where I post early pictures of my next project.